Good morning. Welcome. Hope you're all right this morning. Hope today is good for you. As you can see, the sun is shining here in Chard and it's a beautiful day. But yesterday was different. Yesterday was a day full of showers and sunshine and showers. About 3:30, I looked out the back of my house and it was very dark. The clouds were very dark, but there was a beautiful rainbow in the sky. And I took a photograph of it and put it on WhatsApp for the members of my church to see. And I cannot ever see a rainbow without thinking of the promises of God and how faithful he is to his promises. And you can see the gift of the rainbow in Genesis 9, verses 8, but particularly verses 13 to 17. It says here, I set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the clouds, I will look upon it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. This is the sign of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. So I looked at the rainbow and remembered that God is a God who keeps his promises. And these verses say that God looks on the rainbow and remembers his commitment and his covenant. Every covenant that is made between two different parties has a sign, and the sign of the covenant that God has made with all flesh, not just with Christians or just with the Jewish nation. This predates all of that. This is the sign which God gave to all flesh, to all creatures upon the earth, that he would never bring a worldwide flood ever again. And then God later had covenants with different parties, and for every covenant there is a sign. I'm involved in a covenant. I'm married. I have a sign of my covenant to my husband, Terry. It is a ring. It's become quite traditional now for men to wear a ring as well. That's a bit iffy. Terry always takes his off when he's doing some woodwork or any hard labour. And he's already lost one ring because he took it off and he couldn't remember where he put it. So we had to get him another one. But for most of us who are married, the ring never leaves the finger. And every time we look at the ring, it's a sign, it's a reminder that we are committed. And it's a sign to other people, actually, that the person who's wearing the ring is in a committed relationship and they shouldn't be approached in a romantic way. It's a pity we don't take more notice of that sign in these days, and we think that sign can easily be got away with. But the truth is that in marriage, as God sees marriage, when two people become partners and commit themselves to each other, they become one flesh. And it's very difficult to separate that. But this is the sign of my covenant with Terry. And the bow, the rainbow, is the sign of God's covenant to us, God's agreement to us. And a sign to me always that God keeps his promises. He keeps his promises. He has never failed on any of his promises ever. And he never will. So if he's promised you something, he will deliver. He is the only one. I mean, you and I, we are human beings, and we have at times promised. And sometimes we have to be careful what we promise. You know, we meet someone, we say, oh, I'll pray for you. And 3 months later, we remember them. We think, gosh, I promised to pray for them, and I haven't prayed for them. Oh, no. Be careful what you promise. Promises are binding, especially when they're sealed as a covenant. Because a covenant is a situation where two parties make a promise. Perhaps when we make a promise to pray for someone, it's only a one-sided thing. It's not a two-sided thing like a covenant is. And covenant is always two-sided. There are two parties who agree to something, and they commit themselves to that agreement. And the wonderful thing about covenants is that when God makes a covenant, he will always keep his side. And the new covenant, the New Testament, the new covenant, is the most amazing covenant of all, where God has not required of us anything, that we do anything. It's all on his side. All the giving is on his side. And the sign of the New Testament covenant is the blood of Jesus. Jesus himself said it. This is my blood of the new covenant, which is shed for you and for many, for the forgiveness of sins. And every time we take communion, we remember the covenant between God and us, made in the blood of Jesus, sealed with the blood of Jesus. But the rainbow, I think every time I can, sometimes I see a rainbow when I'm driving towards Taunton, because in the mornings the rainbow is in that direction towards Taunton. But in the evenings it's towards the back end of my garden. And I can't, usually if I'm driving to Taunton, I can't take a photograph of it. But I can, out of the back of my house, like I did yesterday, and see the beauty of the rainbow that God gave as a sign that he keeps his promises and that he has made covenants with us. He's committed to us. He's our, and that wonderful chorus that or song that we sing so often at the moment, Waymaker, Promise Keeper, Light in the Darkness, Promise Keeper. Our God is the supreme promise keeper. Have a great day. Have a great day, a really, really good day. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.